Welcome once again to the RPG Tavern.
RPG Tavern.
It's Finkeldorf and Gary or Jerry. Finkeldorf the gnome and Gary or Jerry the GIF and or GIF. And this is where we talk about role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, and Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and all the various variants of those things.
Verily, we do verily talk about the amount of variety we have on the very podcast we speak on.
If this is the first time you've heard of us, we're 40K Fanatics Podcast, which is mainly a Warhammer 40,000 podcast, available in all the places that you get your stuff. However, we talk about all kinds of different games over there as well, in addition to painting and hobbying and various things that could appeal to your D&D campaign, because miniatures are cool.
They are.
On the table.
Oh, yeah.
Not much preamble to this show.
No.
We're going to get right into it today, where we give our opinions on things we like and don't like, etc. in tabletop RPGs. And today we're doing the top 3 worst GM mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Absolute worst.
Like, in our opinion, man.
Yeah.
So, the way these top 3 lists works is just like a sports radio show, because ultimately, I would just like to do that. If I could have any job in the world, it would be giving random sports opinions for games that I may or may not have watched.
Yeah.
Just talking straight out of my keister about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't watch all that much sports, and that is a very competitive field, and so we're talking tabletop RPGs today.
Oh, yeah.
It's a top 3 list. It goes 3, 2, 1, but there's one extra.
Ooh.
An OLI, an outside looking in. That doesn't mean it's number 4. No. It's like an honorable mention, except with less honor.
Yeah.
Do you have a list, Austin?
I have the vague sensibilities of a list.
I like that.
I may not have an outside looking in, but
you're a little bit of the in this thing, the not uninitiated audience, but you've not ran all that many tabletop RPGs.
I've never run one.
You've never ran a single one?
No.
Oh, that's crazy. But you have a lot of interest.
Yeah.
And you're a thinker. You're a thinking man. Got a lot of stuff rolling around about things.
Sometimes it pours out my ears.
Yeah. Or out your face on a podcast like this. My OLI of worst GM mistakes. Now, look, obviously there's way worse mistakes that you can make as GM than this, because you kind of, the God complex can be real. We're going to omit those. Like, these are kind of a little more subtle, I think. But then again, Austin, your list could have, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Wild card.
My OLI is single enemy encounters. All right. So what this means is you and the party, let's just say for the sake of this discussion today, that you have a party of 5, which I feel like was a show, wasn't it?
Maybe.
That's an old show. That's like some 70s stuff, party of 5. Anyway, you've got a party of 5 of totally reasonably balanced classes and adventurers, and they're all having fun, and they rock up on some single solitary encounter.
Ooh, a troll.
Oh, one solitary troll.
Ooh, a giant.
Oh, one solitary giant. Now, what's wrong with this? Because it sounds really cool. Oh my gosh, we've come across a troll.
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
Action economy.
Yeah?
Action economy is the counting of how many things the players get to do versus how many things the GM gets to do.
Yeah.
And if the players have got 5 people, at minimum, that's 5 things they can do. That's 5 moves, that's 5 attacks, that's 5 spells, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Any mix of those. At higher levels, it could be 2 attacks per. Talking about swings of swords and things like that, right? So now the action economy is 1 versus 10.
Yeah. The troll comes up, takes a swing, misses. Okay, now we got fireball, we got bard spells, we got hammer swings, we got arrows, and then the troll gets to go again, swings, misses. Okay, back to fireballs.
Right. It becomes an encounter that doesn't really function, because the troll just gets sort of stuck in the mud, and you chop him up, and he becomes just this hit point bag, a literal punching bag.
Who's going to pop the pinata?
Yeah, so it's a big GM mistake to have sort of big bads with no minions.
Yeah.
Minions is what we call them. So what you would do is you'd have like the troll, and he's in a swamp or under a bridge or something. But then you'd have maybe a slime or some poisonous frogs and little other stuff to try to make that action economy more even.
Yeah.
That way, you, the GM, actually get to do some playing, which is nice. And also, even if the little poisonous frogs are no threat, they're going to make your players think that stuff's happening, right? Oh my gosh, I'm poisoned now, and that makes me less effective against the troll.
Yeah.
So maybe one of us should start dealing with these frogs. Somebody's going to think that the frogs are way more of a threat than they actually are, because that's the way that players overthink things. So you might have them all ignore the troll and be messing with the frogs. Meanwhile, the troll is whomping people.
Yeah.
And it's just more fun that way. Obviously, you have to adjust the difficulty a little bit because now the action economy is even. But all that stuff is at varying levels of accuracy in the DMG, in the case of D&D. However, use your head. Feel it out. Obviously, the troll's minions cannot be giants.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. It needs to be like one big thing and little gremlins.
Yeah. I want to hit you with this idea for that encounter. Say, instead of having them all pop up at once, if it were, you have the troll, and as they're doing the troll, you go, okay, make a dexterity test. If this person wants to come over here, fail it, trip on a log, you popped a toad out of the log. Kind of like that, kind of blend them in instead of having them all at once.
That blending in thing, and this is a whole other list, but there's a whole lot of YouTube channels and stuff that are dedicated to just being mad that Dungeons and Dragons mainly does not have like hard, fast, ironclad, super balanced encounter building rules.
Yeah.
And to that, I'm like, I don't know what you want them to do, because if our party of 5, for instance, is 5 dudes with no magic for whatever reason, they got 5 barbarians, right, or 5 fight, just non-magic users. Their level of effectiveness is totally different than 5 wizards with fireballs. So I don't understand how you could ever think that they could print up a book that would just perfectly balance this whole thing by some math.
Yeah.
But I digress. One way, if I am doing an encounter and I find, oh, shoot, they are wrecking these folks, this is not going to feel challenging to my players, what I do is just have some extra, let's say we've got 3 different unit types. One's sort of the leader. We got like the middle guy, and then we got some chaff. I'll just have a couple of more middle guys run out of the woods or from the next room or whatever. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Depending on you could just say, oh yeah, maybe you've got way too many of the little tiny minions, and it's getting a bit funny. Your players are getting stuck in the mud because of them, right? Okay. Next time somebody casts a spell, say that half of those guys, those little dudes, just get scared and run away.
Yeah.
Like, you can balance the encounter right then. Mm-hmm. I always think when people talk about, oh, there's no way to balance high-level D&D because the players are too strong, I'm thinking, you can add more dragons.
Yeah.
Oh, they can take out a dragon? Okay, well, how about 2 dragons? Now what? Like, it's not that kind of game.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time talking about war games over on 40K Fanatics podcast. Those are the kind of games where what the rules say actually matter. In these kind of games, you can sort of just make it fun, however you need to. Mm-hmm. Number 3, that was a good OLI. All right, this one is a pet peeve of mine. Not montaging. So, we're gonna need a montage. Even Rocky had a montage.
Yeah.
I hate, with all my hate, when I'm at a table as a player or a DM, and one member of the party is off somewhere doing something, and the other members of the party are back at the house, right? Party member A gets some information from an NPC. Everyone outside of the game is physically at the table, paying attention, hearing every word spoken. Party member A goes back to the group and then is allowed to attempt to relay all the information that he got from me, the GM, or whoever. They take 15 minutes to do this.
Yeah.
They get a lot of details wrong. We're playing a game of telephone that no one ever needed to play because everybody just heard the thing.
Now everyone's got a role play like, oh, well, if it sounds like that, we should do this, even though I know this isn't the way to do it. Now you've got this kind of like forced misinformation going on in the role play.
The thing is, you can still role play after the montage. All I want is the montage of I explain what I heard to the group.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe there's some little piece of it that I guess if there was some part of it that the rest of the group wasn't allowed to hear or whatever, then I'm going to write that on a note and hand it to the player and be like, that part's secret. But the rest of this, blah, 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 go ahead. And then it's on them to decide, like, Andy handed me this note. You can do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't have enough of this one life that I'm given to sit there while you relay what is common knowledge to the real life group. That's crazy to me. Other things that I like to see montaged is travel that absolutely nothing is going to happen during.
Are you telling me you don't want to role play a 5-hour like wagon ride?
I have another RPG Tavern in the chamber for that kind of stuff. No, you know what I do? I'm like, okay, you guys are going to travel, da-da-da. I roll for one random encounter or two. If it doesn't come up, then we don't do it. And then I say, okay, guys, now while you guys have been traveling, before we get there, is there anything over this 2 days of travel, da-da-da, that you want to do during your downtime, that you want to explore, that you want to da? And so we're montaging the traveling, and then I'm letting them insert the scenes of whatever it is that they wanted to do. What we don't need to do is just sit around and try to cook up some nothingness for 2 in-game days.
So based on the rules, our rations are this, and got to figure out the water situation. For doing this travel, it's just so much stuff to if you want to factor that in, it's just insanity.
Yeah, and my thing about that,
potty breaks.
Yeah, my thing about that kind of thing, like the water and the rations and all this stuff, is like, if you even desire to have that level of fidelity in your kind of realism, then before the travel starts, you would say, okay, we're going to do travel preparation. Everybody's going to go, well, I'm going to go buy some rations, and I'm going to go find some water, and blah. Okay, cool. There's not really any way anybody fails at that stuff. That's the thing. If there's no real chance for failure, then why are we fooling with it? Mm-hmm. If you guys are going to travel across a desert, like a real desert, when it's supposed to be hard, then you sort of, as the GM, you come up with more kind of encounters and checks and scenarios that are a bit more clever than, well, if we're going to be gone for 4 days, do we have that many rations for 4 days times 5? There's better ways to make that travel feel harrowing than, number on the ration sheet doesn't add up. Now
damage.
Now I'm kind of hungry for 6 hours of the final day of travel. Like, what? No, you'll be fine. You're going to make it. Okay, you get to the town and you're kind of dragging because you didn't pack enough pastries.
Yeah.
Anyway, not montaging drives me nuts. Number 2, top 3 worst GM mistakes. The total party wipe, the TPK, the total party kill.
Mm-hmm.
It is my opinion, and this one I feel could be controversial. It's my opinion that if you just sort of, if your whole party dies kind of organically, like one guy falls and the rest of them, they fight and they're very brave and it really happens, right? It just happens to happen. That's one thing. What I'm talking about is you guys come across some stuff that you're not ready for and he hits you with a whatever giant spell and now you guys are all dead.
Oh, yeah.
Was that fun, Austin?
No.
The character you've been playing for weeks?
No, and this was one of my first D&D encounters happened like this.
Yeah, the bad DM is what that is. Because think about it. What are we doing? you, the DM, are in charge of curating an experience that is entertaining, first and foremost, challenging, maybe, fair if you feel like it, right? Those are all your decisions.
No, it's me versus the player.
Yeah, incorrect. Because the idea that, oh, well, you guys just walked in the wrong room, why was that room here then? Like, it's ridiculous. Oh, in this random place, this random third level adventure place that you're in that room, I put Vecna. What? Why did you do that? Why is he here? Why does he have anything to do with this little cottage full of rats, for instance?
You walk into a room, you didn't smell it in time, but there was natural gas here. Your torches ignited, you'll die. Shouldn't have gone to the other room. Anyway, packing up. See you guys next week for a new campaign.
Yeah, it's totally ridiculous, and it is my number 2 worst GM mistake. And I mean, look, if you guys need us to further explain that one, then you need to stop running games, okay? Because that stuff is crazy, and it happens a lot. That's the other thing. Like, I don't actually want you to quit running games, but it happens too much.
Yeah.
You hear these horror stories all the time of, oh yeah, and then we came across whatever, and it killed us. And then people talk about, in the new 2024 Player's Handbook, stuff got, some stuff got boosted, so all the healing got boosted, so it's much easier to heal yourself and not die that way. But then Counterspell got nerfed, so that you can't just counterspell. And one of my players, we were discussing it, and he was like, well, yeah, but now, I mean, if some powerful thing says, power word kill or whatever, then I just got to eat it. And I'm like, I'm not going to cast that on you.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. Like, if you have no chance of making the save, then the thing that's casting it is way too powerful for you to be around. Like, this isn't Counterspell's fault that you're not being rescued here. It's some DM's fault for being like, I got something for him. Bang. Like, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. Anyway, number 1. That's not the worst one.
Yeah.
The TPK is not the worst GM mistake, in my opinion. My number 1 GM mistake is too much freedom.
Yeah.
Looking at you, sandbox games, all right? Sandbox campaigns where, so what do you guys want to do? Where are we? You're in a town.
Guess I'll go to the bar and put beer glasses on everyone's head and mess around for about an hour and ruin everyone's night.
Okay, cool. Good session.
Yeah.
See you guys next week. What the hell are we doing? Oh, I've got all kinds of stuff planned. I've been building this world for years. Have you? Or have you been not preparing for game night for years?
Yeah.
Because in my experience, my personal experience, the guys that are like, oh yeah, we're playing my homebrew world and it's a sandbox and you can do anything you want. That is all code for, I don't have a plan. And if I do have a plan, I'm not going to tell you, and it's not much of a plan, but if you happen to start stumbling upon my big ideas, then I guess I'll flesh out some adventure.
Yeah.
It's the worst. And why is it the worst? Because there are good sandbox games. I'm running one now. I'm running Curse of Strahd. It's a big old sandbox. It's great. It's a great book. There's a lot of thought put into it. There's a lot of different directions you can go and stuff you can do. It also doesn't take a rocket scientist of a GM to nudge your players toward something that progresses a story forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, it frustrates me to even talk about. Go ahead. What do you think about the sandbox campaign?
It sounds frustrating, especially I experienced something like this where I played a campaign and it was, we talked about before, like starting tropes, and our trope was royal decree. There's a new land. We have to go out and try to explore the wilderness, solve any problems over there so that the town can get built and eventually expand westward into this frontier. So we were playing this game for like months now, and I've been picking out like little details and going, okay, I think there's a story plot here. I think there's one here, and I've got like this whole like cork board with string attached idea of what I think the overall like plot's going on and where things are progressing. And I tell the DM at one point, I'm like, hey, I think I know where this is going. I tell him everything. He's like, oh, actually, no, we're just doing like a big sandbox where it's like combat encounters, so people can play their like meta classes and have like basically an RPG war game is essentially what they were doing.
He had no plan.
No.
There was no greater goal. Nothing.
Yeah, literally at one point we had like dragons fly over us. He was like, you see something flying in the distance off, and I'm thinking, because at one point he said there's no dragons in the campaign. I was like, okay, there's the dragons, and we're going to eventually stumble upon the dragons later on. But it's like, no, that was literally just nothing. I was just doing a little filler.
You know, it's funny. I've ran 4 or 5 campaigns now, and good long campaigns.
Yeah,
and I've also run a big variety. My first foray into D&D, as I've only ever got to be a player, but for a number of sessions, and the rest of the time I'm DM. I'm full-time DM because I'm willing to do it. Mm-hmm. And part of my real job is an entertainer. Play piano, sing, tell jokes, all that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that I would be the DM because I kind of have a good feel for what is going to be fun or interesting, right? And my very first foray was a sort of zero prep. The whole concept was this like zero prep, do what we want adventure.
Yeah.
And we started out as prisoners, and then everybody escaped because they want to escape. But then I say it was zero prep, but it wasn't actually, because I would, in 10 minutes come up with an encounter before we started because I knew where they were the last time. Mm-hmm. Then I'm like, okay, they're pursuing XYZ, so I'll go grab some monsters out of the monster manual and come up with some reason for them to exist. And then before we knew it, some bad guy characters had sort of sprouted out of nothing.
Yeah.
There was like a Beastmaster guy who they pursued for a month and a half, and he had all kinds of different stuff going on. And it became a really nicely fleshed out world, kind of really organically, but not because I just sat there and said, so what do you guys want to do now?
Yeah.
None of that. It was always somebody comes up to you and says, ba-da-ba, and you can either take that or you cannot, and sometimes they would not. But here's the other secret to that kind of thing. If that's the sort of game that you like to run, whatever you made for that thing, whatever they go pick out to do, you put that thing over there.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like procedurally generating a world.
It is. But then I've also done pre-written adventures now, and even have done we did I really had fun with it, the new Spelljammer book for 5e, where you're in space.
Yeah.
And we took everybody to space, and it's a little bit episodic as a book. It's a short book, but they've got this flying pirate ship. So I said, all right, guys, this is going to be kind of both. You can do anything you want on any given day. And then we've got the story quests, which are going on. So they would sort of poke at the main story and then get to some sort of base of operations, and they'd go out and do this adventure and another, and I would put hooks in, and then that would be like homebrew stuff.
Yeah.
And then we did a whole homebrew campaign, and that became like a much larger arc. But then they could still go off script if they wanted to go after a magic item or whatever. And you just can't, you can give the players a lot of freedom without it being just nonsense.
Yeah.
In that Curse of Strahd book, it starts off and there's like a preface to it where the guy's like, we were in a dungeon fighting mummies, and then all of a sudden the guy's like, and here's a vampire. And the guy's thinking, why is this vampire here? Doesn't he have anything better to do? Yeah. Shouldn't he be cooler? Shouldn't he have like a bigger purpose in the world? Mm-hmm. And then they started, this is back, I guess, in the 90s or maybe even the 80s, I don't recall, working on the Curse of Strahd. What would become Curse of Strahd, where this vampire has got this whole place and it's all dark and he's in control. And that kind of thing's awesome. And you can have that in your sandbox campaigns if you just do a little bit of work.
Yeah.
It is not good to just say, what do you guys want to do now? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to ask that. I ask my players that. We're playing a sandbox. Ultimately, they can go into whatever little building they want to go into, and especially at the end of chunks, right? They've just finished something somewhere. They're feeling good. They're da-da-da. I'm like, all right, where to now, guys? Do you want to go back to your little base? You want to go see this? You want to go talk to that guy? Literally anything you guys throw at me, you can do that. You know? Oh, I want to go find a lady to talk to on the street. Okay, cool. That's what we're going to do then. But that cannot be the starting question for your whole entire session, adventure, etc. Every time.
No, you need a foundation to grow upon.
Have to. Well, do you have any final thoughts on any other worst GM mistakes that you can think of, Austin?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time in the RPG Tavern, where we will talk more tabletop RPGs and give you our thoughts and opinions of stuff we like and stuff we don't like. I got one cooking up. Maybe we'll do it next. How much does realism matter to you in a tabletop RPG? Mm-hmm. We'll see you next time.